Something weird is going on. The speedo on my MR2 says I'm doing 0 miles an hour, but the speeding ticket I got says I was doing at least double that. And you can't argue with that. Believe me, I tried. The judge was having none of it. So now I've got to fix my speedo. Last time I fixed two of the three issues I was having with the gauges on my MR2. I fixed the rev counter's inaccuracy by replacing some of the failing capacitors, and the phantom oil level warning light by yeeting the bulb. It's okay, the bulb was a bad influence on the other bulbs anyway. So now it's time to tackle my third issue. My speedo doesn't work at all. I did check the speedo for signs of damage when I had it out before, and to my very untrained eye it looked fine. So the issue is most likely with the speed sensor in the gearbox or the wiring that connects it to the gauges. So now I'm going to check the speed sensor. Unfortunately, the speed sensor is buried deep in the engine bay, and you need incredibly thin arms and long fingers to get to it from the top, and hey, would you look at that? I knew there was a reason I never went to the gym. So the speed sensor is out, and oh no, that's not good. In case you're not familiar with a typical speed sensor, here's what it should look like. And here's mine. Note the complete absence of the nylon gear on mine. The gear interfaces with the ring gear on the differential to send a trigger signal to the gauges. No wonder my speedo is dead. On the plus side, I now know the issue is with the sensor. Of course, this does mean there is the remnants of a nylon gear floating around my gearbox oil. This is actually a fairly common issue with MR2s. The general consensus is the nylon gear will have been ground into a fine powder by the metal gears of the gearbox and won't have done any damage. I will at some point drain and replace the gearbox oil just to be sure, but for now it's probably fine. I have two options for fixing this. I can replace the entire sensor with a used one, or Toyota still make the spindle and gear, so I could just replace that part with a brand new one. Annoyingly, I did have a spare sensor, as this gearbox is a replacement we fitted a few years back. Unfortunately, I recycled the old broken gearbox and didn't think to take its speed sensor off first. This actually marks the third time I've needed parts from that original gearbox, the other being an earth strap and a gear linkage bush, thus confirming that you should never throw anything away ever. It's not hoarding, it's forward planning. I figured I could test the speed sensor by powering the car up and spinning it with a drill. If I see a reading, I'll replace the spindle, if not, I'll replace the whole sensor. Time to make use of one of my most favoured tools, my phone. I'm going to set it up with the camera pointing at the speedo as I can't really see it from the engine bay, then I can check the footage afterwards to see if it's working. It appears the sensor is completely dead. Well, maybe. It may also be I need the engine actually running to see a reading rather than just having all the electrics on. But I'm not going to bother trying that because while I was spinning the sensor with the drill I could feel some serious vibration, like the internal shaft is bent, so I've just ordered a replacement used sensor. I would have loved to have measured the run out on this shaft, but I don't own a dial indicator. Wait a minute, I just passed up a perfectly good opportunity to buy a new tool. Looks like I'm finally mature. Oh, never mind. Well, it turns out the runout isn't that bad at all, just 0.1mm. I'm guessing the added length of the drill amplified it, so I probably could have just bought the replacement gear after all. Oh well. Measuring that would have been a lot easier if I had a stand for my new dial indicator, but that can wait until... or I can order one now. Now is good. So I've got a lot of tools, and organising them has always been a struggle. I've tried pegboards, foam cutouts and modular trays, but they all have the same issue. They're not flexible enough to accommodate new tools, and I like buying new tools. I've ended up just leaving my tools loose, but they take up more space and rattle around in the drawers. Recently, I came across these 3D printed magnetic tool holders and bought some for my screwdrivers, and they've been awesome, so much so that I reached out to 3D Rhino, the company that made them, to see if they'd be interested in promoting their products on a video. They were interested and sent me some holders for my spanners. For me, these are a game changer. They've allowed me to get all my spanners in one drawer when they used to take up two. And being modular, they have the flexibility to hold more tools as you acquire them. The magnets in the base are also strong enough to hold them steady through drawer liners. They come in loads of colours and configurations, and they're made in England. If you're looking for a good tool organisation system, I highly recommend 3D Rhino. Check out the link below. My replacement sensor has arrived. Or at least I think it has. It's so well packaged I can't actually tell. Yep, that looks good, same as the old one. Let's get it installed and see if it works. Oh, still no speed. I did not see that coming. It turns out Toyota actually has a prescribed method for unit testing speed sensors. I probably should have read the manual first. The sensor is basically a switch that opens and closes once every quarter rotation. So to test it, I need to supply a voltage to pins 1 and 2, and then measure for that voltage over pins 2 and 3. On a working sensor, that voltage will come and go every quarter turn. And yep, my original sensor is working perfectly. May as well test the replacement I bought, and yep, that's also good. So this means the issue is either in the wiring or the gauge, and both of those are much more complicated to diagnose. I'll need to... Hey, what are you doing there? No, stop that. This isn't the way. You lazy motherfucker. So I failed to fix the Speedo, but I'm not finishing this video without fixing something. I fully intend to earn that like and subscribe you're going to give me. The other issue I mentioned last time was my saggy driver's door. The proper way to fix this would be to replace the hinge or maybe weld and re-drill it. And I'll do that one day, but for now I'm going to go with Old Faithful, shims. If I shim out the bottom hinge, it will rotate the door up so it meets the latch properly. I've measured the door sag at the latch to be about 8mm. The distance between the latch and the top hinge is about 1.1 meters, and the distance between the top and bottom hinge is 310mm. Therefore, to shift the latch up by 8mm, I need to shim the bottom hinge by 8 multiplied by 310 over 1120, which works out to be 2.214mm. But I don't need to be that precise here. I mean, Tesla would already say it's good enough. I've got some 2mm thick washers, which should probably work. Voila! That's raised the edge of the door enough for it to close easily. I am still planning to fix the Speedo. Really I need some JIS screwdrivers to remove the gauges, but as long as I'm really careful I should be able to use a Phillips and... I have a problem.